Today, President Trump is going to get a firsthand look at the crisis on our southern border in California.
That's right. Griff Jenkins spoke with the border chief in the country's most overwhelmed sector.
All right, and he joins us now from San Diego. You have an exclusive interview that you will not see anywhere else. Hey, Griff.
Hey, good morning, Brian, Angelina, and Steve. I traveled 1,500 miles here to the San Ysidro port of entry. Cars behind me you see going from Tijuana into the U.S. But before we left the Rio Grande Valley, we spoke to that Chief Rudy Karish, and he's taken a message to the Senate this coming Tuesday that is very alarming. Here's a little bit of what he had to say.
We had an MS13 member that was part of a fake family unit. That individual who was arrested by us is actually being detained. But what was interesting is we intercepted a communication that he was sending back to Central America, basically telling them that right now if you use a child, that's going to be the easiest way for you to get into the United States because they recognize that there are gaps in our policies.
That is a significant development there, guys. The first publicly known incident of a child being used by an MS13 gang member or anyone for that matter. Those messages read, you should see the amount of Hondurans traveling with a child. That's the easiest way now. Going to hear a lot more about that next week. Meanwhile, Secretary Nielsen was in Yuma, Arizona yesterday talking about the country being in emergency response mode. She'll travel to Calexico, where she will join up with President Trump later today, about 2 hours east of us. The president putting Mexico on notice yesterday. Listen to this.
We're going to give them a 1-year warning. And if the drugs don't stop or largely stop, we're going to put tariffs on Mexico and products, in particular cars. And if that doesn't stop the drugs, we close the border.
And we can add to it that AJ and I will travel as well to Calexico here a little later this morning and try and get an interview with President Trump to talk about this issue, which is undeniably, whether you're talking about a wall, whether you're talking about changing laws in Washington, adding manpower, or even more technology, it is something that has to be talked about, and we hope to speak with the president later today.
Hey,
Great.
Griff, the president's going to have a plaque. It's going to be a wall. This is going to be the beginning of his barrier that he's built under his first term.
Well, it's interesting, you know, because it seems in the language that we're hearing from the president and in the sound bites about Mexico and trying to get them to change their laws, the president also has tweeted several times in the last few days about changing things in Congress. Chief Karish told me yesterday that really changing these loopholes is so important, whether it be chain migration thing or whether it be, what we're seeing now with these loopholes being exposed and catch and release. But Karish told me, he said, listen, if I build a wall along the Rio Grande River, right, and there's land between the wall and the river, and those migrants come across and stand on that land is the U.S., right? So it's really the feet dry, feet wet sort of thing we've had for years. That has to be looked at. There's a whole lot of laws and a whole lot of loopholes. It's not just one, and I'm going to talk to the president about that.
Right.